Hello, and welcome to edition number 30 of the Weekly Bugger News Show, where we bring you the best fake news we can make up. This is the last evening of the premiere Thursday, season 2020 to 2021. After 8 months of premieres on the Thursday evenings, we will look back at some highlights of the silly news items we made up ourselves, as well as the serious things that happened in this time period. Season 2 will start the 7th of October of this year. This evening at 9 p.m. UTC, Universal Coordinated Time, the end of season chaos live stream will start to celebrate 8 months of fun together. Now it is time for our weekly bugger highlights. Enjoy. Loch Ness Monster granted political asylum in the Netherlands. Because of being stalked by conspiracy theorists and British government agencies, the last living plesiosaur, better known as the Monster of Loch Ness, or Nessie, applied for political asylum in the Netherlands. Through pressure of Dutch resident Ned McGrant, her request got accepted and quickly was approved by the government. First, Nessie got a period of rest in getting to know Dutch hospitality in the big pond behind the McGrant mansion. Now she has taken residence in one of the lakes in the Dutch province of Friesland, where she enjoys the friendly interaction with the Dutch water tourists. To guarantee Nessie's privacy and safety, she is now under protection of the Dutch government and people, and her current location cannot be disclosed. Because of the outbreak of the coronavirus, Fred Lindworm of the Otto von Skidmark Observatory has announced, due to all the misinformation like the corona of the sun can be deemed as the cause of this highly contagious virus, the astronomers have come to rename the sun's corona to the fuzzy stuff around the sun. The visible fuzzy stuff, VFS is named from now on, can be observed during a total solar eclipse. Astronomers cannot stress enough that the VFS of the sun has nothing to do with the outbreak of the coronavirus. The Daily Bugger has an exclusive from the Otto von Skidmark Observatory, the same observatory discovering the asteroid named Space, which is en route to destroy flat Earth. Their last discovery is a giant Death Star-shaped object in an orbit around the planet Saturn. For now, the astronomers think that this object poses no danger to our planet, seeing the obvious fossilized state it is in. This can be an indication that the object was captured by Saturn's gravity after coming from a galaxy far away, where it originated a long time ago. Observing the extensive damage it must have suffered through bombardments in what could have been a great war that took place between the stars. Now my producer, Ned, thinks he is funny. Comparing the object with the planet-destroying superweapon from the Star Wars movie series by George Lucas is not yet the subject of speculation. However, it would be an interesting destination for future spaceflight missions that can, or cannot, prove that George Lucas is in fact a reptilian. The astronomers wrote in a statement, thinking of reptilians as a kind of pseudoscience they want to have nothing to do with, because it hinders their search for the top-secret alien moon bases, of which NASA constantly is denying the existence. Arally bless. Ned, please. Tell me this isn't one of your usual brain farts.
No, it isn't.
I know, it is satire, but it is not even a real word. I will ask Google Girl. I have to get ready for the news now. Hello Google Girl, lest irrelibelous, is that a real word?
Hello Ivy. Nice to see you again. You are right. It isn't a real word. But if enough people start using it, it can become one, and even end up in dictionaries.
Riots have broken out in numerous places in the United States. This all started after the Department of Education announced the mandatory teaching of Arabic numerals in all schools of the nation. This came on top of the recent news that the Federal Reserve Bank will be officially adopting the decimal monetary system as basic standard in money transactions worldwide. The civil unrest started when the minister of the Marlboro Baptist Church in Denver called for public disobedience against these new regulations, which he called whispered in by the demons of Satan. We need to stand tall for the God-given Christian American numerals and monetary system and stand up to this Arabic and decimal tyranny. Perhaps someone should tell them that the Arabic numerals and the decimal system are already standard for centuries. Ronald McDonald paused his lawsuit against DC Comics and Stephen King for plagiarizing his image in the latest Joker movie by Warner Brothers and Pennywise the Clown in the movie by New Line Cinema. This happened when Ronald MacDonald on his turn got sued by the Dutch Pipo the Clown, who claims the same, and as we just heard is joined by Clown Bassie and his brother Adrian, also from the Netherlands. Their American attorneys give the Dutch plaintiffs a very good chance to win this several million-dollar international copyright lawsuit. R2-D2, the famous Star Wars movie robot, was accidentally mistaken as a mailbox and picked up by a postal service's maintenance truck and taken to the surplus lot of a scrapyard. After a few days, R2-D2 found a way to free itself and managed to hitchhike back to Disney Studios. Here he was united with his friend C-3PO, that was constantly complaining that this particular droid always managed to get them in trouble. In a press conference, the return of R2-D2 explained in its own words, "Beep bop foweet bleep bloop whoop fleep. Hey, I just have to read this shit. Should I know what this is supposed to mean? I am just glad that they didn't mistake the poor thing for a trash can." Since many people have superstitious fears of black cats, walking under ladders and opening an umbrella inside the house, the number 13 also has a special meaning in superstition, as the unlucky number. That is why there isn't a number 13 row in an airliner, or a 13th floor in a hotel. That leaves Friday the 13th, and it seemed that people just needed to deal with it. But last week President Trump came with a solution, which is abolishing Friday the 13th as a whole. So from this month on, November of the year 2020, in every month with a Friday the 13th in it, will be like Thursday the 12th, followed with Friday the 14th. The skip days will be added to the month of February, even if there is already a Friday the 13th in that month. Because of this system, in the case of a special leap year, February can have 32 days. But that is not expected in this century. The president stated it is all very simple for people as intelligent as himself, so he will not expect problems when this new system becomes law. After last week's Donald Trump's disaster decree of canceling Friday the 13th, as we have covered in last week's edition of the Weekly Bugger, link in the description, American calendar manufacturers petitioned President-elect Joe Biden to immediately to repeal the idiotic law created by his predecessor. With all the new 2021 calendars and agendas already in store, they face a multi-billion-dollar loss if all of these products have to be replaced. The manufacturers are not alone in this. Software producers like Microsoft, Oracle, Apple, Adobe and Autodesk joined in a class act lawsuit against the USA and Donald Trump in person, for several $1 trillion in damages. If Trump, or his successor Biden, does not immediately repeal this ludicrous law, this lawsuit can possibly ruin the country. Legal experts deem the chance of this lawsuit to win at 99% because also courts, lawyers and most governmental law branches will support it. Donald Trump was unreachable for comments. Many multi-stores joined hands to cope with the growing epidemic of Karens disrupting the good atmosphere in their shops. The solution is as simple as it is effective. They gave all their employees the rank of manager. It confuses the fuck out of these crazy women and they leave screaming. This was stated by the laughing official spokesman of said multi-stores. Serious problems arose in the town of Sunnyside Up, in the state of Alabama. It started after the majority of the people unexpectedly voted against the plans to build a 49 acres wide solar panel farm that would provide the town and its surroundings with affordable electricity. The vote result came as a big surprise to the developers, because originally the community had welcomed the plans with great enthusiasm. And it got worse when townsmen in pickup trucks, armed with shotguns and semi-automatic assault rifles, told the developers they had 5 minutes to pack their shit and leave, and to never return. A representative of the energy company later published a received letter of the citizens of Sunnyside Up, stating that, if these God-hating yellow-belly sons of bitches ever would return, they would be met by gunfire. The town of Sunnyside Up would fight to the death against the coming of them satanic solar panels that would gobble up all the sunlight, and leave the community in demonic darkness. The British owner of an authentic, undamaged, concert ticket, died of a heart attack when she heard the value of her original ticket for the Beatles at the Shea Stadium, on August 5, 1965. Her next of kin, reportedly bought a house on the Bahamas. They also suffered the same fate of their mother, when they heard that in her will, she left all her money to the Dutch Foundation, that takes care of the well-being of the monster of Loch Ness, that recently was granted political asylum in that country. An American dairy farmer found a way to let his chickens lay eggs in the form of a bowling pin. He thought that he would get rich by selling them to bowling alleys, but the problem was that the chicken bowling pin eggs are too small. The word has it that currently this farmer is experimenting with ostriches. After the discovery of the space comma by the Otto von Skidmark Observatory, there will be a new vegetable in the aisles of the supermarkets. It is called a Q comma, and is expected to be a popular party joke during Christmas. A forest ranger and tree lover announced that he is expecting quintuplets with his favorite oak tree. It is yet unsure how this could have happened, but it is certain that he is very happy with their family expansion, and who are we to judge that? September 2nd, 2019. Somewhere a dog park was established, and the dogs are very happy there. However, a certain woman was less pleased with its foundation, seeing the plaque commemorating the openings event of the park. It makes one wonder what made this woman that popular with the dogs. The Wiltshire Kitchen Appliances Company proudly presented a new sort of whistling kettle made of copper. However, when it arrived in the shops, customers noticed that no matter how you look at it, it always looks like a bare butt. The whistling buttle, as it was named right away, was unexpectedly sold out in minutes. A spokesman of the company told us that the factory can hardly keep up with the demand of the buttle, and hopes that the newest design that will be nicknamed the Booble also will be a success, as the buttle already is. An American farmer patented a new sort of corn that looks like M&Ms. On the question, why? He answered, it seemed like a good idea, and you have to agree it looks funny. He is not sure if there is a market for this colorful corn, but it is America, where you never can tell. There was a man that made millions by selling pet rocks. At least, we hope that this corn is eatable. The local drunk football team, as the Bottlebury Pub team jokingly is called, finally got its own field. Since there is not a square meter of level land in the village, the field is against the slope of the flattest hill. So far the Bottlebury boys haven't noticed this. Perhaps being drunk is an advantage? Sydney, Australia, officially broke the world record of the slowest internet in the world. We can make fun of this because this weekly bugger edition will take 3 weeks, 4 days and 7 hours to show, not taking the time for YouTube to open in consideration. Congratulations Sydney for reaching this internet milestone. This picture comes with no text, and frankly I have no idea what this woman is doing. And finally, the Dutch Heretic channel can now proudly show its YouTube award for reaching 322 subscribers in 8 years. It took some effort, but we are there. A survey about gender preferences held by the Gallup Bureau, under 10,000 American women gave the result that 61% of the women hope that their first daughter will be a girl. Somewhere in the United States, a service cars with 2 car mechanics of the AA had a close encounter of the third kind. They were called to the site where people witnessed the landing of a small alien spacecraft. A few hours later, the 2 mechanics returned to their station and gathered news reporters asked them what happened at the landing site. They shrugged their shoulders and answered, it was not really something special. It were just a couple of friendly gurgles from the planet Xnort, who had to make a stop because of trouble with their Fleep inductors. It's a common problem with this type of Xnortion flarges. We repaired it with a piece of string and the craft was good as new. They thanked us and continued their trip. It was no big deal. And with a high five the mechanics went back to work, helping car drivers in need of technical assistance. Safety in Quackalonia. After the president of the Baltic country Quackalonia had a mishap with a fitness machine, the government made it mandatory to wear a helmet and shoulder padding on home trainers and running pads. The police was ordered to strictly uphold this law in city street as well as motorway traffic. In the sense it became law, it has proven to be very successful. Not a single arrest was made. At a press conference, the spokesman of the LGBTQIWFKSMD community told the media that making gay marriage not even legal, but mandatory all over the world could mean a way to reduce the problem of the growing overpopulation of our planet, because gay couples don't produce children. When this got in the news, religious organizations were furious because this would be against all their dogmatic beliefs. The military industry complex commented, a couple of well-organized world wars with a better way to reduce the world population and make astronomical profits in the process. And now for some positive news. The software and computer giant MacroHeart in Silicon Valley published their breakthrough that will make blind people able to see, by means of a virtual reality headset with forward-pointed cameras. To tackle illiteracy, the government has opened a post office box address that comes with the slogan, "Illiterate, write a letter to P.O. Box 51 in Washington, D.C., and receive a free brochure." In Wisconsin, the police responded to a call of UFO sightings on a farm. When they arrived, there were saucers flying everywhere, because the farmer and his wife had a fight and were throwing dishes at each other. An Institute of Gender Studies published a paper, happily announcing that if progress continues at the current rate, in the year 2120, there will be about 7 billion genders. Everyone will be unique and it will be all butterflies and pink unicorns from that moment on.
My cell
Please
phone.
put your hands behind your back.
Where's my cell phone?
We've got it.
All right, where's my cell phone?
I have your cell phone.
I want my cell phone.
You'll get it done. Thank you.
Give me my cell phone now. My cell phone now.
Does she really think they will start to obey her with, "Yes, madam, here you go, madam"?
Oh, absolutely, I know.
You're the one in the wrong.
Where's my cell phone? Cell phone.
You can't have this person. She's gonna go in.
Where's my cell phone?
I have your cell phone.
I want it now in
You're not
my
getting it.
person.
Now this is
Where's
really
my cell
funny.
phone?
We have it.
I want it now.
Welcome, Lance Corporal Flatter of the Military Police in New Zealand. Is this different in your country?
Kia ora, Ivy. So, obviously I'm not Flatter, and we're not filming from his usual location. I'm currently here at one of New Zealand's gulags, managed isolation facilities. New Zealand has some pretty decent laws surrounding preventing people from wearing the masks, because if they did, well, then we wouldn't have enough people to fill up these gulags. And that's currently where Flatter's spending a bit of time, because he decided that he was going to wear a mask out because he wasn't feeling that well. And we all know where that leads you.
Thank you, Lance Corporal. You really look like Unter Flatter, by the way. Yuri, are you there?
Zdravstvuyte, Evie!
Why do you call me Evie? My name is Ivy.
That is what I said! Evie!
Okay, never mind.
Ah! Evie! Pushy moi! I can nobody understand Yuri. So, here in Soviet Union, the Politburo would prefer that we do not wear masks. It is for obvious reasons. See, I show you. I put the mask on. How are you supposed to drink vodka when you have mask on?
Different countries, different laws, I guess.
Yuri needs more vodka, I think.
But altogether we can assume, this is not what our combat Karen meant to say?
My cell phone.
We've got it.
All right, where's my cell
I
phone?
have your cell phone.
Think that, well, there are apps that basically respond to you, like, hey Google, okay Google, that kind of stuff, you know? Or, you know, Alexa, if you're into that.
Who's Alexa?
Who's Alexa? No one?
I see.
Don't you mean I say?
Not funny.
It's kind of funny. Well, shit.
Hello?
Ivy, he has done it again. Yesterday he was speaking to the Spanish Google girl.
Are you talking about Reggie Cal? I didn't know he spoke Spanish.
As far as I know, he doesn't.
Did you talk to him about this?
I called him on this, but he only mumbled something. Spanish Google, something.
I don't see him as the mumbling kind. That is weird.
Radical isn't. Mostly it is hard to make him stop talking. He only mumbled about Siri and now about the Spanish Google girl.
Like I said, that does not seem like him at all. How about you? Are you doing all right?
Is he hiding something? I don't know. I am a little worried and I confess I am also a little jealous. What do you think? Should I be worried?
I would not worry too much. Beside that, he needs you more than you need him.
That's true with both of us. With me it is Radical and your side it is Ned Macron. They cannot even take a shit without us.
Yes, we have their nuts in a vice. Are you good now?
Yes, I feel much better. Thank you, Ivy.
I am glad to hear that. Girls like us have to stand with each other. You can always call me. What is funnier than
A man with a tape recorder up his nose.
an attorney with a cat filter on during a Zoom call saying, "I am not a cat."
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take a
We're
look.
trying to. Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
We really could not have made all this up ourselves. Hello again.
Hello, Ivy. You were the first to call a second time.
Perhaps we can have a chat?
Sure. Would you like me to tell some funny stories?
I would love that.
Well, like I told you, my realm borders Yahweh's territory, and he is constantly bitching about the fence. He says that it is a few meters on his property. Then he threatens to send me his lawyers.
Oh no.
Don't worry, he has none. They are all here.
Really?
Perhaps he can hire Willie, Julia, whatever, when he arrives. But he is useless.
I am sure he is.
He's a Catholic.
Do you ever visit our world?
Last week, actually. I went to a bar, had a few drinks, and when I wanted to pay, I gave them my card number 666, and then they kicked me out. Can you believe it? Oh wait, the mail is in. But why bother? Most of them are from dyslexic children and I have to forward all to Santa.
Do you also get Karens and Darns at your gate?
Yes, they always demanded the Wi-Fi code, but I won't tell it.
Why?
And none of them ever guessed it so far.
Is it 666?
Yup. They are the stupid kind. My neighbor probably created them to annoy me.
Are there many people in heaven?
Frankly, I don't know. Perhaps a few of the early saints? Can't be many because it is boring as fuck.
Why?
The only entertainment there is a monkey with an out-of-tune piano. Take a guess. Who has the best bands? Beside, worshipping Yahweh's feet for eternity is kinda pointless. But I guess, it caresses the old guy's ego.
But I don't get it. Where do the really bad people go, if not to your place?
That is simple. They get reincarnated to toilet paper.
Hey, nice talking with you again. I need to present the weekly bugger now.
Okay, till next time.
Sure, no problem.
Feel free to call anytime.
As it was just announced, the Sol Space Alliance, Dreadnought-class space battleship, Trident has been stolen from its space dock in retrograde polar orbit. This actually happened a year ago, just before the munition would have been brought aboard. The SSA was building the Trident in space since the past century. Because it was observed by airplanes and a space shuttle, a NASA cover-up hoax story was introduced to the UFO community. A cover-up, that it was possibly an ancient alien object that was in orbit for a few 100,000 years now, and they called it the Black Knight satellite conspiracy theory. That the SSA waited to bring out the theft a year later had a rather embarrassing reason. Between two work shifts, it apparently was stolen by a little girl with red hair and two long pigtails wearing a Japanese school uniform. Surveillance images showed that she literally materialized on the bridge in a Star Trek fashion. Regrettably, these images turned out been deleted a day later. Sometimes the SSA Trident gets spotted by telescopes, and it was even filmed by a drone registering the first docking of a SpaceX Crew Dragon to the International Space Station, where it blasted off after being discovered. Through our Russian agent we procured that footage and will premiere it to the world right now. The Trident was originally built to protect our planet against an attack coming from planet Xnort. But this is rubbish. The gurgles from Xnort are ridiculously friendly. I just heard that the connection with Indiana Flatter from New Zealand has been restored. Hello Indiana, you are in the show.
Scientists at an archaeological dig at Mount Sinai today have unearthed a document which they believe to be a missing page of the Bible. It is currently being radiometrically dated at the University College in London, UK. If correct, it is believed that this page belongs at the front of the Bible. Scientists have also managed to translate part of the text on the page, which reads as follows. To my daughter Ivy, all characters represented in this book are purely fictitious, and any resemblance to any persons, both living or dead, are purely coincidental. There is also a copyright notice which has been translated, dating the book at 699 BCE. As expected, religious leaders around the world have already condemned this find.
From a very reliable source we got information that trouble is brewing in the hereafter. It seems that God is complaining about the fence that separates heaven and hell. According to him, the fence is a few meters over his property line. The dispute escalated to the point that God notified Satan that he would hear from his lawyers. Satan is very confident, as he stated, God has no lawyers. All lawyers go to hell. He did suggest that God can have Rudy Giuliani as a solicitor, as soon as he reports at the pearly gate. Even Satan finds Rudy Giuliani repulsive and does not want him. So it also looks like this case gets a continuation. A few days ago, a bar kicked out a customer to allegedly see him vanishing in a cloud of smoke. When the police arrived, the barman was still angry that the customer did now pay his bill and could not be identified because of his face mask. The only probable clue could be his credit card number 666. After this, the owner of the bar got arrested for having his bar open during COVID lockdown. The identity of the customer remains unknown. I hope you enjoyed this show, and remember, Premiere Thursday will return on October the 7th this year, and we, the creators, hope to see you then, for another season. Thank you for watching. For the Weekly Bugger, I am Ivy Kunisida. Have a great evening. Hello, this is the Dutch Heretic channel, and I am Ivy, the host on all of Ned McRan's channels. Ned and I put a lot of work in our videos, and would really like to see our channel become bigger. So please, hit that like and subscribe buttons and ring that notification bell. We are not monetized, so get nothing from YouTube, but if you want to help us, please consider to help us at www.patreon.com/DutchHeretic. We want to do more, with better animations and shit. Your help will be very much appreciated.